Hello everyone, today is the 7th of December 2021. My name is Toshino, and I'm here with my great friends Patrick and Jedi, who are the representative of the International Golden Age Group, as well as Terry-san from Japan PFC official. So welcome Patrick and Jedi.
Hello, thank you for your invitation.
Hi, this is Jedi.
And welcome Terry-san.
Hello everybody.
And today we're very happy to interview Cobra about the Divine Intervention activation. We also ask for a situation update and what we can focus on next year and ask many questions sent to us. So welcome Cobra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now let's start talking about the Divine Intervention activation. So the first question is, for light workers, it is not difficult to visualize the first contact. However, it may not be easy to visualize the direct source intervention to Earth, as we have not done such a meditation before. Will you be able to provide us some specific images and visualization when we do this invocation?
Okay, the source does not intervene directly, but it intervenes through energy fields. So you can visualize very strong positive energy fields coming to the Earth, transmuting all darkness, changing everything negative into positive. And then more concretely, the positive races manifesting physically and assisting in this transformation.
Okay, thank you. And Taoism believes one of their highest deities, Yuan Tenshuan, was born on the day of the winter solstice. Is he an extraterrestrial being? Is it helpful to visualize him sending brilliant white light to us during our divine intervention meditation?
Yes, he's a positive extraterrestrial being, and of course it's helpful to visualize him sending brilliant white light. Not exactly during the meditation because we have a specific protocol for it, but before and after meditation for sure.
All right, thank you for the answer. And will there be an advantage if we do the divine intervention meditation at our private contact dish areas?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and if people do this meditation at the headquarters of the United Nations in New York City and visualize a Palladian ship landing on his long-thought official first contact, will such visualization create an additional impact?
Yes, that's actually a very good idea.
Yep, so people can go to the headquarters for the meditation. And the meditation instructions mention that we visualize that the first contact and divine intervention is happening. Why do the life forces emphasize that we should visualize both scenes at a particular timing?
Because it's the first time in human history that it's realistically possible that you reach the critical mass which can trigger certain changes we're hoping for.
Right, that makes sense. And connection with the I Am Present is not specifically included in the meditation instructions, but due to the importance of I Am Present in terms of making decrees, should we connect with our I Am Presence before and during the meditation?
Yes, that would be actually very beneficial.
All right, thank you. When we decree manifestation of the first contact with benevolent galactic beings and divine intervention immediately, will it be more effective if we visualize some relevant images rather than just stating the intention aloud?
The most powerful would be to do both things together at once.
All right, okay. And back in March 2014, you mentioned that the Dark Forces have demanded that the Source stops giving intel to the Ascended Masters and to the Galactic Confederation about their clandestine activities and plans. During the mass meditation, can we still ask the Source to review all activities of the Dark Forces in order to accelerate the liberation process?
Yes, definitely.
All right, thank you. And you mentioned in the previous update that the Galactic Confederation will construct 2 Dyson Spheres where there is enough light in our solar system. And you mentioned that in the Sisterhood of the Rose interview that the Galactic Confederation are in early initial phases of creating those spheres. Will the construction of these Dyson Spheres accelerate if our meditation successfully reaches the critical mass?
Yes, this will be one of the effects of the meditation itself if we reach the critical mass of 144,000 people meditating on December 21st.
All right, that's very good to hear. Thank you. And will the life forces remove the Blackstone and subquantum anomaly container in the urine base if the meditation reaches critical mass?
It's not expected yet for this to be removed, but the removal process will be greatly accelerated if we reach the critical mass.
Yeah, that sounds very good. And what kind of minerals and spiritual items would you recommend for manifesting the first contact and the divine intervention?
Of course, Yemen stones are the most powerful to connect with positive extraterrestrial races, especially Syrians, and also Aquamarine is very powerful to connect with the Galactic Confederation, and Goshenite is very powerful to connect with your iron presence. So those three stones combined would be very efficient in establishing that contact.
Okay, great. And can you please give some inspiring and encouraging words to the UFO communities and spiritual groups so that they may understand the significance of the planetary liberation petition and the divine intervention meditation?
I think everybody who would really like to experience first contact in their lives, we have now a tool to accelerate this process, and everybody who feels so guided can participate in this. And those who will participate in this will be the ones who are making history. We will be the ones who will be written the history books when stories will be written about how contact was achieved in the long term.
Okay, great. Thank you for the messages. And I'll now pass on to Tali-san for the situation update.
Okay, thank you very much. The first question. Many light workers felt some very joyful and hopeful energies during the solar eclipse booster meditation. What exact benefit did this booster meditation provide to the main meditation?
Actually, yes, we had a very focused, unified group doing this booster meditation, and actually there was an energetic breakthrough right at the moment of the maximum moment of the eclipse. And one of the consequences of this booster meditation was that the number of signatures have literally exploded on the petition side. You can just check and see what was going on in the last few days with the number of signatures, and you'll be positively surprised.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Next question. You said that since March, some key positive Dragon members in mainland China have been killed or arrested. What is the impact of these incidents on the strategy of the light forces? And what is the situation of the remaining Dragon members? Are they safe now?
They are keeping a low profile. They have received some additional instructions how to proceed, but the exact strategy is, of course, classified.
Okay, I see. Thank you. The next question. How can the event flash magnitude be compared to X1 solar flare that happened on October 29th, which was quite strong according to NOAA space weather scale? And will it be possible to gauge how many times more than the Carrington solar flare event in 1859, for example?
I would expect this to be a few times more powerful than the Carrington event in 1859.
I see, just a few times more. Okay.
Yes, but it must not be too strong. We have to survive this. So this initial event flare will not be catastrophic. It will be just a pulse that will initiate the process of planetary transformation. So it's not going to be destructive.
I see. Good to hear that. Thank you very much. Next question. Scientists recently discovered that there is a giant barrier near the galactic center, which prevents most cosmic rays from permeating into the local galaxy. Is the barrier actually a Dyson sphere built by the light forces for filtering the energies from the cosmic central sun?
It's a combination of a natural plasma bubble which spontaneously is being created around every galactic center in every galaxy. And of course, this plasma bubble is being additionally assisted by the galactic central rays, which regulates the flow of energies throughout the galaxy so the galactic life can thrive and evolve.
I see. Understand. Thank you. So you mentioned in June that the light forces deployed Myongil in icosahedral formation. Recently, you said that light forces are going to construct 2 icosahedral Dyson spheres in a solar system. Why do the light forces choose this shape? How can we use this shape in a daily life, especially for spiritual growth?
This sacred geometry formation is the most effective in directing energies towards planets. So this is why the light forces are using this one. Now, of course, you can use the same shape in your meditations, especially in light body activation process. If anybody's undergoing that, sacred geometry shapes can assist and accelerate that process quite much.
I see. Thank you very much. That's very interesting. Okay, next question. The outbreak of COVID-19 in Taiwan was under control within merely 6 months. In Taiwan, we have not seen any new local cases for almost 30 days. A similar situation happened in Japan too. After the peak number of infected persons in late August, the number dramatically dropped in Japan, unlike the expectation of mass media, and now it is almost negligible. So many scholars do not know why the pandemic vanished so dramatically in Taiwan and Japan. And are they due to the stronger Chintamani grid there, or is it due to their special tachyon chamber arrangement, which was briefly reported on your blog in June?
It is a combination of three main factors. The first main factor is that the virus strain, which was released in Italy, is responsible for most COVID infections since then, since I would say late February 2020. And very few cases from that strain have reached Japan or Taiwan. The second one is that especially Taiwan has implemented the most efficient pandemic control measures, especially in the beginning. And of course, the third factor is the density of the Chintamani grid and the number of tachyon chambers. All those factors combined have as a consequence almost that the number of cases have dropped almost to zero.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much. And you mentioned in the previous update that Chintamani stone is also known as Yemen II for dragons. So Yemen II means luminous bead, night luminous bead. Do Chintamani stones in Aldebarans and Antares really become self-luminous at night, or is it just merely a spiritual metaphor?
There are certain stones that glow and are luminous at night, but they are not Chintamani stones. And those stones are known across the galaxy, but it's too early to introduce them to the surface population because they are very powerful and misuse of that power would not be beneficial. So they are really, really strong stones with really strong spiritual force, but they are not present on the surface of the planet.
So will it be introduced sometime later?
They will be introduced to those who are in a state of consciousness that is compatible with those stones.
I see. Okay, thank you very much. So Metaverse, also known as a immersive virtual reality, is becoming a popular concept. What do the light forces think about this new virtual reality technology? Do benevolent galactic civilizations use virtual reality for experiencing an alternative life?
This metaverse concept, which has been introduced, is actually a trap. It is to put people deeper into the matrix. Light forces use this VR technology very rarely. So they use it when it's really necessary because there are better ways to approach reality.
So this means better to avoid this?
Actually, yes.
Next question. Has the collapse of the Lake Kivu vortex caused by a negative influence on the event timeline and global situation?
It has decreased the quality of energies around the planet. There is more dark presence, but generally speaking, this collapse has not had any major impact. So it's just like the energy quality around the planet is slightly worse, but there have been no dramatic side effects.
Great, good to hear that. The next question. Recently, France has changed the blue color of the national flag from cobalt blue to navy blue. Navy blue is a symbol of the French Revolution. Is the change initiated by the light forces?
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. This is the end of the second part. Now moving to the third part by Patrick.
Okay, thank you, Cobra. The third part is clarification. The first question is, what is the relationship between quantum realm and the non-physical planes, especially plasma and etheric planes?
Actually, all of the planes, physical and non-physical planes, have the quantum dimension built within themselves. So space-time continuum is structured in a way that on a very small scale, it does have the quantum realm, which has a slightly different laws of physics than the macroscopic reality that we are experiencing.
Oh, good. Next question. Are Guanyin and Isis the same goddess? Is Guanyin actually an Asian avatar of the latter?
It is not completely the same goddess, but parts of the archetype are very similar.
Okay, the next one. How large in diameter does a fully functional tachyon chamber have? I mean, not only inside the chamber, but we are wondering if it has an impact on the surrounding area.
I would estimate the radius of impact to be around 30 miles in each direction.
Oh, okay. Next one. There's a rule in the Great World missions that when burying Sintamani stones, we must keep every one of them at least 30 meters away from morganite and Tibetan free wheel crystal. It may not be very easy to know if someone else have already buried something else nearby. Can you explain the reason behind this rule and what negative effect will we have if we bury a Sintamani stone, a morganite, or a Tibetan crystal within 30 meters?
Okay, I would not be worried too much if it happens accidentally from time to time, but we would like to avoid interference of energies because the stones have maximum effect if they are on their own without any interference. So if we have powerful stones, as all of those are, too close together, that can create a certain interference that would slightly decrease their efficiency, but that's all.
Okay, so next one. Is Colombianite from a series the same as Sintamani stone? If not, what kinds of attributes does a Colombianite have?
It is not the same as Sintamani stone, but it is similar. It has a slightly different vibrational frequency. It is slightly less efficient, but nevertheless, it is a very powerful stone.
Okay, next one. Now that the goddess energy is extremely insufficient on the surface of the Earth, can we improve the situation by burying more morganites?
To a certain degree, yes.
Okay. Next one. When a Sintamani stone is buried into the Earth, it will create an angelic energy vortex for clearing its nearby plasma field. Does buried morganite create a goddess energy vortex for anchoring more goddess energy on Earth?
Again, to a certain degree, yes.
Okay. So if that's the case, how large can a goddess energy vortex in diameter be created by a 10 gram taconized morganite?
I would say around 2 or 3 miles, something like that.
Okay. You mentioned that goshenite can speed up our ascension process. Can we strengthen ascension vortexes such as Mount Fuji and Mountain Jade by burying goshenite on those mountains?
Yes.
Okay. How big can an ascension vortex in diameter be created by the 10 gram taconized goshenite?
Again, around 2 or 3 miles.
Okay. Next one. Wearing Aquamarine can help us connect with the energies of fifth dimension, motherships, and Atlantis. What benefits can an Aquamarine have when we bury it for grid work? And how large can an energy vortex in diameter be created by a 10 gram Aquamarine?
If you bury aquamarines, you can strengthen the connection between the motherships in the orbit and the surface of the planet, which of course is very beneficial. And again, the vortex diameter would be around 2 or 3 miles.
Okay. Next one. In Hunan province of China, there is a special village called the Village of Reincarnation. It is said that more than 100 local villagers there can recall their past life memories. How can those people collectively be immune to the memory loss caused by the implants?
There is a glitch. There is a hole in the matrix structure which has not been discovered by the Cabal soon enough, and certain people slipped through the veil when they were incarnated with their memories not completely intact, but more whole than the rest of the population.
So it sounds like this village is kind of cracked inside the matrix.
Yes. Not now, but decades ago there was a crack.
Oh, okay. So next one, you used to say that we should not speak out loud about our intent to set up a private content zone. Is it safe now to verbalize our invitation to Pleiadians for physical contact?
Of course not. Nothing has changed with instructions. The instructions remain exactly as they were. So do not speak that aloud.
Okay, Roger. Next one. What is the relationship between the life forces, resistance movement, and the so-called the Earth Alliance?
Okay, the life force is the term that encompasses all different factions that are working for the light. Resistance movement I have been speaking about so many times, I will not repeat. And the Earth Alliance are people on the surface of the planet that are working towards the liberation.
Okay, so next one. We hear the so-called tall white groups so many times. Are there Asian or African-looking extraterrestrial beings? If so, how are they helping humanity in terms of planetary liberation?
Yes, of course, there are people who are looking. They look similar to every major race that has been on the planet Earth, and each of those different races is helping their own way.
Okay, so next one. What is the significance of dragon families in terms of planetary liberation?
Yeah, we have two main groups, the blue dragons and the red dragons. That's simplified version of it. So the blue dragons are working especially with their spiritual side of the planetary liberation. They're working with their meditations, with their occult practices, with their positive manifestation rituals, with their energy work. And the red dragons are working especially with intel in the militaries and with the financial system. And most of their work is not public. It's not visible for obvious reasons.
Okay, next one. How can light workers and light warriors with dragon origins effectively use Sintamani stones or other minerals when they try to connect with their home world?
Okay, those who are of a dragon origin would need to find their own stone that's connecting to the home world, and this haven't been found yet on the surface of the planet. It's not yet publicly known. So until then, they can use regular meteorites, which are a close approximation to that. So regular iron nickel meteorites are the closest approximation I can find at the moment.
Okay, so next question. Is there any dragon family presence in South America?
Yes, but very little.
Okay, next question. Speaking of America, American people recently celebrate their Thanksgiving Day, but most American people may not have any idea of what significant role Native Americans once played in early American history. After the U.S. Day was founded, Native Americans were even betrayed and persecuted by white people. Has this historical event influenced the spiritual evolution of this country? And how can we heal this trauma?
Yes, many spiritual traditions of the Native Americans have been suppressed by the Jesuits that came in the United States in the 17th century. And this can be partially healed simply by acknowledging those spiritual practices and supporting them, and by actually supporting all people who belong to those spiritual traditions.
Okay. Next question. You mentioned that the origin emperor of Japan was a draconian. Can you talk about his or her name? Is he or she a positive draconian?
His name is Jimo, and he came from the positive draconian race from one of the, I would say, royal draconian lineages, and he was connected to goddess of the sun, Amaterasu. So he was the one who actually brought certain high culture in Japan when he actually landed there many thousands of years ago.
Okay. Next question. Benjamin Fulford mentioned that there is a secret society called Yatakarasu, the three-legged crow. Do you know about this group? Is it working for the light?
Yes, I know about this group. It is located in Kyoto. Kyoto is a very powerful energy vortex in Japan, with very powerful secret traditions, and Three-Legged Crow Society is one of those groups. It is theoretically positive, working for the light, but of course there is a lot of infiltration, and I do not agree with everything they do. So I would say, I would say with caution that yeah, they kind of work with the light.
Okay. Next question. It's been 4 years since the LifeWorks initiated the Peach Blossom Spring project. Is it now safe to reveal the purpose of this project? If not, can you share some declassified intel with our audience?
No, it's not time yet. Nothing has changed. This will be revealed when things really get better.
Okay. Next one. Is it possible that new top-level bombs will be made from the Blackstone and Urim base? Or can the Dark Forces still create any new top-level bombs at all?
Okay, theoretically, the Dark Forces could create a small, very small top quark condensate, which would decompose very fast. So, practically speaking, they cannot make top bombs anymore.
Okay, very good. Next one. When you promoted Flower of Light back in 2019, you mentioned that dark anomalous plasma near the surface of planet Earth is arranged by dark forces based on trapezoidal non-harmonious geometrical shapes and by distorted non-Euclidean geometries. How can trapezoid and non-Euclidean geometries be used for anchoring negative plasma? And also, should we avoid creating trapezoid shape or living closer to a trapezoid shape in our daily life?
Okay, as positive sacred geometries can improve our lives, so can negative geometries create a distortion in the energy field. You don't need to be overly worried to really avoid trapezoidal shape or anything of that nature, but just be a little bit aware. I was just releasing this information for people to be aware what kind of geometries the Dark Forces are using in their rituals. So just to bring general awareness of the situation, but you don't need to be overly worried about this.
Okay. So next question. Is it possible that the revelation to the planet Earth occurs even if there will be not event flash? Or the event flash is mandatory to cause the liberation to take place?
The event flash is part of the process. It's organic part of the process, and I cannot imagine liberation happening without it.
Okay. Next one. How scientifically will the galactic wave of love from galactic central sun annihilate all the negativities on the Earth?
It is simply that the source will transmute enough of the primary anomalies so that the negativity cannot exist anymore. So when enough of the primary anomaly is gone, it is theoretically impossible to create negativity, and then it's theoretically impossible for the negativity to exist. So when enough of that anomaly is gone, the darkness will be gone also.
Okay. Next one. In Chinese culture, black is usually used to represent yin and white to represent yang of Tai Chi. Some people feel that this is a duality and balance between dark and light. Is this concept correct?
It is not a balance between dark and light. It is just a representation of polarities of divine feminine and divine masculine. And it has nothing to do with darkness or light.
Okay. So what colors would you recommend to represent yin and yang if we don't use black and white?
You can use black and white. There's no problem with black and white.
All right. Okay, so thank you for your clarifications. Now, then next to the next part.
All right, the last part is very short. First one, what activities or great works should we organize if we want to keep up the momentum of the divine intervention activation and enable the source to intervene in the surface situation more and more actively next year?
Okay, after the activation on December 21st, you can use this momentum in your groups to connect, to use meditations to connect with our galactic friends, with the Galactic Confederation, with the Extra Command, with the Pleiadians, with Syrians. So just to keep that connection which will be established and to keep the channel open.
Okay, great. The next. The relationship between Taiwan and China is very sensitive and complicated now. How would the light forces resolve the potential aggression by China to Taiwan?
If the situation escalates, it would be important to do a global mass meditation for peace in that region.
Okay, we will keep doing it. Okay, next. You said years ago that a few people can liberate the entire galaxy with the advanced goddess Vortex meditation. Do you think that we will have a chance to do this meditation next year or before the event?
It is extremely unlikely that this will happen before the event.
Okay. Thank you very much, Cobra. This is the end of the questions. What message would you like to convey to people in the world in relation to this petition and the meditation?
It is an excellent opportunity to gather our forces and make one big leap towards the final liberation. The situation with the petition is looking very good. There are many signatures being signed, and we also need to focus on the main meditation on December 21st to do the decrees, the free decrees during the meditation aloud, which will add additional force to our activation. And I would like to thank everybody who is working. I would like to thank to all the teams, all the translators, all the interviewers for the work for the liberation of humanity. Thank you very much, and victory of the light.
Thank you, Cobra. Victory of the light.
Victory of the light.
Victory of the light. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone for listening to this interview. Victory of the light.